My name is Junelle Stroh, and we are here from Namibia. Proudly.
Yeah.
We've taught you how
Yeah,
to
I
show
love
that
that
we are
thing.
from.
I love that thing. I want to ask you about the Commedia Dell'arte acting technique. It's a technique, right?
Yes, it is.
How did you develop the technique yourself?
It's a, it's a long story because it came over a long time. But the short story of that is when I was studying drama, we learned about, Commedia Dell'arte, and I was like, oh, I love this. The characters and how they work together and the concept of how they do it and how they play theatre. And then, of course, through the years, getting involved in educational theatre and community theatre and industrial theatre, sort of like how you can train your actors to show certain things in theatre that you can then use as different tools. So they are trained, I can almost say, to take any situation and either be led by the audience or they lead the audience, but it becomes like a kind of a relationship
Yeah.
that you can then use for different reasons. Sometimes it's just to entertain. Sometimes if you want to go deeper into some social issues or problems or things like that, it's a very good starting point because people are easier to talk about something or do something when they see something and it's funny to them. Sometimes it's funny because it's uncomfortable. It's like we don't want to be like this character or this character, but it makes us uncomfortable because we know that character. If it can be your uncle or your nephew, or it can be anybody. So we play around with those concepts and then get certain feel for the audience. And through that, of course, upliftment through comedy and having a little bit of a laugh at our own expense and also at the characters, for the characters, with the characters.
What do you find interesting about Commedia Dell'arte?
Yo. How long did you say we have?
Oh, we have a short time.
I can elaborate a lot, but for me it was just that repeating myself, I know, but it is because it's created from the community. It's so rich because it's that tapestry of the community. So you have, and we play the young ones, the old ones, the animals, the inanimate objects, the everything from a teapot through to a swimming pool that gets created from a piece of string on the ground. So in a way that gives us even more freedom than it gives, a big show with lights and all of those. Of course, that's wow, and we love that, né? But if we are working in a community where the actors are struggling and the community is struggling and there's no funds to even hire a place to even rehearse, never mind to put up a show. So if you have to work with what you have, there's so much you can create because there is nothing. Ne? Everything you create is magic to the audience. So therein lies that magic of Commedia Dell'arte, is making the audience believe, even though they know it's ridiculous, because the characters are bigger than life, but they recognize the characters and they kind of feel a little bit not at home, but it's like this character, we might be from different countries or different situations or different backgrounds, but we know the characters,
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the beauty for me.
Beautiful, but you've said you've worked with communities. I would like to know a little bit about the experience you've gotten working with the communities. Like, how has it been? Just like in a few minutes.
That is a little bit tricky because once again, like I say, community theatre is also a different kind of concept in Namibia than it is here. We do and we don't have those kind of community theatre. There are groups in Namibia that get sponsored by certain people that does a lot for community theatre. Like we've got one group in Namibia called Oil, and they do from dancing, music, acting, everything, movies. They even and they are very powerful a group. But the other groups are almost, I almost want to say, it's not what's the English word? Sustainable. Because there is no funds. So the funds has to either be generated first to do the show, or it needs to be sponsored. So so that's why you go, all right, if we don't have anything, then we make it up.
Yeah. Okay. The last question: the challenges that you have gone through, and the challenges you think that other people who are going to take up the Commedia Dell'arte acting are going to they might face. Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work, um, because it is a type of physical theatre. It's also physically demanding because the actors has to be ready, not just mentally to be. They have to know all the time what's going on because they don't know when maybe they have to stand in for another character, or if the audience does something funny where they have to help maybe a character on stage or something like that. So not only are they thinking about 50 different things, with their bodies they are also doing 50 different things. So it's a very disciplined, undisciplined area, because if you think of it, people will just go, they're just fooling around. But to actually train to get to that level, you can work with somebody that's never, ever been trained in it. That's why kids take to it so easily, because they don't have a concept yet that goes, oh, theatre. We go and we buy a ticket, and then we dress like this and then we sit properly for, you know what I mean? The kids don't really know that yet. Or, I mean, like, if they have parents that took them to the theatre, fantastic. But usually, so the theatre you have with them is very honest. They don't care who you are or what you are. If they don't like what you're doing on stage, they're gonna go, nah, scratch their ear. You know what I mean? So in that way, the interaction becomes very honest and truthful in that way. So as an actor in this kind of Commedia Dell'arte, improv theater, a kind of setup, it's almost like there's so many things. That's why you need to be a group. One, it's not a one person show, because we don't know what's going to happen on stage. So you need your troupe. Where I might not maybe be as physical, or maybe I'm out of breath and I can't do the next scene. My troupe will see that, spot it, and somebody will somehow stand in for me until I have my breath. You understand what I mean? So I would say teamwork is a very, very important thing, and it brings a lot of skills, communication skills, negotiation skills, things. So there's a whole skill set that one literally can practice, through doing these different things, but doing it more and more, it becomes almost like a natural thing because we're playing, to start with. And then it can become deep,
It was beautiful today, the workshop.
Oh, thank you so
I loved
much.
what you did with the imaginary invalid. It was so nice. It was so nice.